So at some point during the season, you're probably going to have all of your players rotate through goalkeeper, but you don't want to spend a lot of time in training because you only have the one practice a week. You don't want to spend a lot of time there working on goalkeeping. So what I try to do is incorporate goalkeeping into other activities that we do during practice. Obviously, shooting sessions are an easy way to do that. Here I'll show you an example of a warm-up that I use every week with all of my teams. And it's called Wembley. And the idea is that when the players first show up at practice, they start playing this game. As soon as we get 2 or 3 players, they can start playing this. And then as more players arrive, they're just integrated into the game. And it's something that my players really look forward to. They run to the practice field basically so they don't miss any Wembley time because they know we're only going to play for 5 or 10 minutes at the beginning of practice until everybody gets there. The basic rules are if you have goals, that's perfect. If you don't have goals, you could do it with cones or flags, whatever's available. But one player goes in goal, 1 or more players are on the field. I usually use 1 ball for every 2 to 3 players, just depending on the ability level of the players. If you're going to make it more challenging on the goalkeeper if you have more soccer balls. There's also, potential for more collisions if you have more soccer balls. So, limiting it but still making it fun is kind of a fine balance. I find 2 to 3 players for every 1 ball is a good mix. The goalkeeper plays a ball out into the space. The players fight over that ball, trying to win it. And if they score, then they become the goalkeeper. And so we just rotate. So over the course of the warm-up, most of the players will find themselves in the goal. If you create 2 of these games, if you have a large number of players, or even with 10 or 12 players, if you create 2 of these games, they're going to get more touches. They're going to get more opportunity to be in goal. So I'd recommend you making the groups as small as you can in order to give the players lots of touches. So this is just an arrival game that I do just to get the players going and give them something to do as soon as they come to practice. So then the next thing we would do is just use this same setup that we had here for the arrival game, and we'd have the players then have a partner and 1 ball on each side of the set of cones. So each group has a ball, and this is probably something most of you have done. Just an easy activity where we're working on either shooting or passing the ball through the gate to the player on the other side. So we'll go over all the techniques surrounding shooting or passing with the inside of the foot or shooting with the laces, depending on what we're doing. Once those are kind of understood by the players, what I'll do next is we'll have one of the players go inside, inside the cones and serve as a goalkeeper. Now here I've just multiplied the players, but obviously you could reduce the number of groups that you have based on the number of players you have. The idea being that we pass or shoot the ball through the gate to our partner on the other side. If you're successful in doing that, then the outside players get to stay. If the goalkeeper saves it, then they roll the ball to the other side and they exchange places with the shooter. So now whoever they save the ball from goes in goal, and you just keep repeating that back and forth. So here what you get to do is just give the players the idea of being in front of a ball that's being shot to them. Talk about, moving your feet and staying in front of it. Talk about getting your hands behind the ball. You can talk about those basic ideas of goalkeeping. So I find this is a great way just to kind of introduce them to the idea of it. The next thing I'll do is we'll have 2 lines of players. We'll have 1 line of players on each side of the goal. So we'll bring these players over here and we'll flip them all around just for the ease of seeing them all facing the right way here. So we'll have one player with a ball at the beginning, and then each of the players will have a ball in the line. And as soon as everybody has a ball and they're on each side of the goal, I'll just move these really quick. Then what we're going to do is we're going to dribble to the middle. So we take those shooting fundamentals that we've been working on, and now we put those in more of a dynamic environment where they have to do these things on the move. So standing and shooting is obviously easier than shooting on the move. So if we get the players dribbling, and I'll just give a couple more players a ball here, but the idea being each player in line has a ball, and they're dribbling to the line and then shooting and scoring. This side is going at the same time as this side is going because they're out of each other's way. What I'll do with the cones too is I'll bring them together and form a triangle to represent a defender so that the players, initially I'll just have them dribble past that defender. and then I'll have them perform a move that takes them past the defender. But the idea of the triangle just being, the kind of the reach of the defender and then the width of the defender. So when the player with the ball is dribbling towards them, they've got something that represents a player to dribble past. I find that that's better than just giving them a single cone. It's more representative of the space a player takes up. Now, the obvious progression here is you just put one of the players in goal. And the way I do it is I'll say, after you shoot, you become the goalkeeper. So that way they take a shot, they go in goal. That person that was the goalkeeper will get the ball and go to the end of the line. Then when they're the goalkeeper, somebody shoots, they'll get a ball then and go to the end of the line. And we just keep that pattern going. So again, now we can talk about things like moving to be in the middle of the goal, staying in front of the ball. You can work on all of those things while you're working on shooting and getting some goalkeeper practice in at the same time. So those are just a couple of basic ideas. Obviously, at the end of your practice, when you do a scrimmage, which I'd highly recommend everybody do, play a 5 versus 5 scrimmage at the end. You can rotate different players through at that time so they get kind of a functional idea of how to play goalkeeper during the game. So if you incorporate that, and you can pretty much do the warm-up game with Wembley and the scrimmage, you're always getting some goalkeeping work done each practice. Even though you're focusing on other things, it may not be shooting that day, you may be doing passing or dribbling, but you can still look to incorporate the goalkeeper at the beginning and the end so that they get some time doing that without you spending a lot of time instructing. So hope that gives you some ideas. If you ever have any questions, feel free to email myself or any of the other Connect coaches. Thanks a lot.